Vaginal rejuvenation. It's something you may have heard hyped on television, and companies who promote the use of energy-based devices, primarily lasers, for these unapproved procedures have sort of been read the riot act by the Food and Drug Administration.
And Dr. Lisa Larkin is here to talk about the procedures and why this concern is why this is a big concern for women's health. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Dr.
And you kind of call this the Wild West when it comes to some of these procedures. So what exactly are we talking about with some of these vaginal rejuvenation techniques?
So in the last 6 years, there's been an explosion of energy-based devices to treat symptoms of vaginal atrophy, but also this new term called vaginal rejuvenation. And really one of the important things for women to know is that different than FDA approval of medications, devices aren't really approved. They're cleared by the FDA in this process called 510K clearance. And really the amount of data that's needed to clear a device is very limited. And there's actually just recently a Netflix documentary out there now that you can watch called The Bleeding Edge, which is very insightful. But the issue really is that many of these devices with the explosion have been promoted to women directly for all kinds of claims that really aren't substantiated in data. And so I think finally the FDA came out July 30th with kind of a very strong statement for all of these device manufacturing companies stating we'd really like to see the data and we'd really like you to see data that is backing up your claims.
Well, just in reading some of the stuff that you sent us, not only can these things not maybe do what they claim, but they also can cause problems for women, right? What types of problems can they cause?
Right, so I think there's now been emerging data about vaginal burns and vaginal scarring related to some of these devices. And again, because the trials that led to kind of clearance are very small and not sham placebo controlled yet, really we didn't have a great understanding of the risks or the appropriate patient for who these devices should be used on. And so it really has become kind of the wild, wild west. I think the FDA statement really is going to be very helpful for women's health, because what that's going to do, and we've already seen this now, is really force the companies to do sham-controlled, placebo-controlled trials where we really can understand for both laser and radio frequency devices and all of these devices that are coming out who they're appropriate for and when they should be used.
So what's kind of the bottom line for a woman out there that was thinking about maybe getting one of these procedures done? Do they need to make sure they're going to...
Right, so I think the bottom line is women should advocate for themselves, and they should make sure that they are being seen by an appropriate physician who does a complete history and a physical exam. One of the other problems that we've seen is that these are now being used in settings where clinicians have no experience in women's health and are not doing an appropriate evaluation of women. The other thing is that women should really be offered and explained other therapies that are FDA approved and that have been shown to be safe. And in fact, it requires individualized shared decision making, and women, when they decide to do these procedures, should at least have a discussion about what we know about the data and about potential benefit and potential risk, knowing that there's actually very small amount of data out there.
And don't just go do something because you've seen a commercial.
Right.
Right. And I think one of the big thing that the other point is just, vaginal rejuvenation is a collection of terms to focus on some of the aesthetics of female genital parts, and I really think there's an aspect of kind of almost body shaming in that in some ways, and that really, vaginas don't in general need rejuvenation.
Right. So don't fall for it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr.